Hello, and this is Sean Briscoe. Welcome to CLSB Politics. So, I've gotten a lot of questions about Kamala Harris's race. Needless to say, it's been exciting. There's just been an incredible amount of interest, and I think I think it warrants talking about the first few days. Uh, First things, fundraising. Wow. As of earlier today, she's raised $128 million in what effectively has been 4 days of fundraising. Um, that's incredible. I'd like to talk a little bit about what that really means. Uh, so we're looking at 126 million. It's 128 right now. Like, I made this slide and it's already out of date. That's how insane it is. 60% are new donors that act, and this is all from Act Blue, that have never donated before. 60%. And my understanding that the average donation is around $300. The campaign finance limit's over 2,000. So they can go back to that well multiple times over the next 2 months. I don't know if they'll get $300, but even if they got $100, I mean, that's insane. It comes out to around $31 million a day. I wanted to talk to you guys about what you could actually do with $31 million. You could run a field program in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Wisconsin all at the same time, and you could probably get in about 4 rounds of canvassing. That is to say that you'd be able to have paid canvassers 7 days a week, hit every door 4 times. You could do one field program in Texas and 4 rounds, completely cripple the GOP by undercutting them electorally in Texas. There would be almost no Republican Party left after that. And you can hit most of the smaller red states because they generally have lower population. Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, any of the not the Floridas, not the Georgias, but any Tennessee, Kentucky. These are all states that have very, very small populations. You could just do a canvassing for all of those. That's just with 1 day's worth of fundraising. So the amount of money they brought in is amazing. And what they'll be able to do with that, I specialize in field programs, so that's how I measure everything. You could just do that. There'd be nothing left of the GOP. So I'm not sure how they're going to spend this money, but the fact that these are the possibilities is kind of amazing. And it's nothing I've ever seen in the 25 years I've been doing this. So that's fundraising in a nutshell. But let's talk about where the money's actually coming from. So the big circle there in the center, that's Dallas. That's where I'm at. It's a little known fact, actually. Outside California, Texas is the largest donor to Democratic campaigns outside of its own state. We're second to California, and I think if you took all the Hollywood money out of California, I think we'd beat them. And people don't realize that Texas is a huge funder of campaigns throughout the country, and we've been that way forever. They used to call Texas the ATM of the Democratic Party, and it's not true. So each circle there indicates how much money came from a given city. And if you look at it, yeah, there's lots of circles in California, and that's why California's California. Sure, and there's a lot of overlapping circles in New York and the Northeast, but their cities are so close together. If you look at Texas and you see that line that goes straight down, that's the I-35 corridor. That's the Great Blue Wall of Texas. And I'm going to do a video about that. It's a plan I've had for over a decade, and how you would turn Texas blue. And that little line there, that's the Great Blue Wall. You do that, you win. And obviously the financing exists because, well, there it is. Now the problem is Democrats in Texas don't have a lot of faith in the programming and candidates in Texas. And that is a terrible miscalculation, because we have incredibly good candidates in Texas, And I mean, and part of the reason that they have such a hard time here is because honestly, Texans understand how important Pennsylvania is. They understand how important Illinois is, Wisconsin. They understand. These are the states that absolutely have to be won, and they cost about a quarter of what it would cost to win in Texas. So Texans do math just fine, and I truly do believe that's why we are the way we are. You got Houston there. That's 2.4 million. That little dot down there on the coast, that's Houston. That's 2.4 million registered voters, just that alone. So that's got twice as many registered voters than a lot of the New England states. So you understand when we talk about Texas, you got to talk about Florida, you got to talk about California. They're the only things that come close to even comparing. But that's the fundraising for Harris. Incredible. Never seen it before. No one's ever seen it before. And yeah, and I mean, it's amazing, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. So social media, that's also been a huge part of it. The younger generations are stepping in, and they're looking, and they like what they see. We're seeing all sorts of crazy developments. Swifties for Kamala, 65,000 subscribers on TikTok, and they're all women. Not all women, I'm sure. But let's just the vast majority. And then on Twitter and Instagram, you've got Swifties for Harris, 50,000 subscribers. Well, anyway, they've got all of the, the branding, the coconut tree, the brat election, all of that stuff. And I'll get into that a little bit. But it's been viewed 32 million times as of Monday morning. That's nuts. It's 4 or 5 times that by now. It is unreal. And those numbers have never been seen before, not for a candidate ever. Not in a candidate in the summer when no one's supposed to be paying attention. That number, that 32 million, has to scare the crap out of the GOP. There's no way it doesn't. That's why it matters. So that's a quick and dirty on the social media scheme. The memes, oh my God, the memes. It's like an ocean. They are everywhere, and they are constant. They're like a river. And they're all over the place. And they're across the spectrum. So there's the bad ones and the good ones. And then, quite honestly, it's like that dark Brandon. The millennials have just said, oh, you want to play with coconuts? Let's play with coconuts. Because they've just completely 180'd that. And the Republicans honestly have no clue as to what they're even beginning to mess with. And thank God for that. These are a couple of my favorites. Yeah, this stuff matters. This is literally their life. That if they're 30 something, this is their elected history and their memory. And I mean, 8 years of Obama, great. And you had Trump and COVID and just a nightmare. Most of them, had friends that didn't have a graduation for college, or their, economic well-being was completely annihilated. Just one freaking messed up thing right after the other. And then you had Biden, who did a great job, and still has 6 more months to go, and I don't see him slowing down at all. And then you've got Kamala, and I just cannot think of a better bookend to Obama's administration than eight years of Kamala. I think she'll be brilliant, and more importantly, the people she'll bring around her will be brilliant. They won't be sycophants. They won't be yes men. They won't be any of that stuff. So I think that that's going to be a big part of her administration. Just like Obama, smart people around him. Just like Biden, smart people around him. Trump had more acting this and acting that in his administration than any administration ever. He could not get the greatest and finest people, as he would often say. He got walking garbage as far as administration goes. So yeah, none of that. But the memes are going to keep flowing, all about it. Think they're great. And it's free advertising, keeps the election in the consciousness and memory of the electorate, which is never a bad thing. But let's talk about the media. I have a very, very, very good example. Wall Street Journal just makes it a little too easy sometimes. Okay. These are two different articles written a couple days apart by the same guy. This is a great example of what the media does. Kamala Harris would be the best Democratic choice. And then a couple days later, Kamala Harris isn't the change Democrats need. So the short is this. These guys. I mean, apparently they don't think Google works. I don't know. But just understand that's what we're dealing with. And I'd like to leave you a quote from hopefully our future president. If we do not lift up women and families, everyone will fall short. And that's facts. So thank you. Please subscribe and share. And, keep up the good work. It's going to be a long, long political cycle. But I look forward to seeing everyone on the other end. I post stuff every day. So this is Sean Briscoe with CLSB Politics. Have a good one.